Ever caught yourself thinking, I've been in this acting game for years. Why am I not further along? What is wrong with me? Is this going to happen for me? Well, today we are going to answer the question of not what is wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you, but how do we fix this? What do we do when we feel like we are stuck, and things are not moving forward? I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. This is the Empowered Actors Podcast. I am your host, Adele James, and this is how you build a successful acting career that lasts decades, not just until you book your next job. Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 2 of the Empowered Actors Podcast with me, your host, Adele James. It's so good that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for giving me your time. So today, we are digging in to what it is that keeps you feeling so stuck and how to do something about that, how to shift, how to move yourself forward, what it is really that moves the needle anyway, and all of that good stuff. This is one of the first things that I work on with my private coaching clients. It's one of the things I talk about a lot online because it's so important, right? How stuck people feels is such a huge barrier to moving forward in the industry. It's something that really needs to be looked at deeply and with a lot of care and attention. So today we're going to talk about why you're feeling stuck. We're going to talk about where that comes from, what to do about it, and how to actually move forward in a way that feels good, by the way, because I just do not subscribe to the paradigm, to the idea that this career has to feel bad. And it did feel bad. Let me be real honest. It did feel bad. There was a time in my career when it did not feel good. But that time, thankfully, has not existed for several years now, and I don't want it to exist like that for you either. So let's go ahead and get into it. The very first thing that we need to talk about is how you're measuring success. The most prevalent idea about success is that bookings equals success. How many jobs you've booked and or how many auditions you are doing equals whether or not you are a successful, you are a valid, you are a real working actor. I can't believe how many people tell me that they don't feel, not even that they don't feel, but point blank that they are not real actors simply because they are not auditioning enough or because they are not booking enough. So the prevailing idea about success in this industry or amongst actors from actor to actor, because to be honest, I don't hear anybody else talk about success this way in the industry, is whether or not you're booking, how much you're booking. But the big thing that I think is really important for us to name out loud is that bookings are a lagging indicator of everything else that you've been doing, everything else that you're doing on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. They are the very last thing that happens out of all of the things that you do as a working actor. Now, that might sound counterintuitive because most people are walking around believing that a working actor means an actor who is working on an acting job. Right? So you've been booked for a TV show, or you've been booked for a theatre show, or you've been booked on a film, etc., etc. However, my experience, my paradigm, my idea, my belief, my true core belief, and my experience of this has been that a working actor is somebody who is working towards their career. Now, a job, a booking is one version of that. An audition is also one version of that. Hey, guess what? So is networking. So is having meetings with your agents. So is looking after your mind, like getting that massage or going to therapy and eating well and looking after yourself, right? All the things that we talked about in episode 1, they are all how you work towards your acting career consistently on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. All of that compounds, all of that is adding up until it overflows into a booking, which is the thing that everybody is measuring their success on when, as I said, it's the very last piece of the puzzle. It's the very last thing to happen. It's the culmination of all the other work that is work. And so if all of that stuff is work, how are you not a working actor? That's where I get kind of tied up when people say that to me. I'm like, well, if what you're doing right now is work, why are you then not a working actor? What are you? A working ? I think it's just better to eradicate this idea that success equals bookings, that success equals auditions. Also because like, how do we quantify that? Are we talking about the size of the audition? Are we talking about the quantity of the auditions? Are we talking about the amount of money you're getting paid for a certain job? Like, where do we actually draw the boundary? Where do we actually draw the line around how we quantify what success means? Also because I'll be honest, that goalpost, if I was to go by, let's say, the size of the audition or the size of the job or the amount of money that I'm making from a job or the quantity of auditions that I get, that goalpost is moving all the time. I've said it quite a lot publicly, but I'm someone who typically doesn't get like a huge horde of auditions. I have had periods of my career where I've had more auditions. I've also had periods, long periods, where I really don't get a lot. I'm currently in a season where I don't have a huge amount of auditions at the moment. And I think my kind of prevailing sentiment around auditions in particular is I'd much rather be working on a job than auditioning loads. I kind of see auditions as like a networking opportunity more than like a job interview, apart from anything else. But also, I really, really, really would much rather that my auditions were of a high quality and aligned to the things that I actually want to do in my career, long term and short term, and that I book those auditions. So I'll happily take like 2 auditions in a span of time if I book one of those, and then that means that I'm working for a period of time, right? And then there's the other thing. If we're going on like the quantity of bookings, well, I might get one job that I'm hired by for 18 months, which means that if my barometer for being successful is how many jobs I book, well, technically I'm not successful because I'm on one job for 18 months, but then by someone else's standards, I might be super successful, right? So it's like all of this stuff is relative. Also, all of it's just kind of made up. I hate to break it to you, but it's just kind of made up. The second you start dissecting it, it just doesn't matter either. None of this feels like it really matters. None of it feels like it's healthy or happy or helping us to really measure what we are doing and how we are growing in this industry as people, as artists over a period of time. It all just feels like noise. And you know what I feel about noise is that we should just cut that the F out. We should just cut it out. It's distracting. It's discombobulating. It puts you in a place where you actually don't operate from your best. It creates this huge kind of unending cesspool spiral of doubt and shame and I'm not good enough and worthiness wounds and things that just don't help you show up and do your best work, however many auditions you're getting, however many jobs you are or are not booking, however things look for you right now. Your job is really to just show up as your best, right? And so anything that feels like it is getting in the way of that, i.e. measuring success with these external factors that just don't mean actually anything, all of that needs to go away. Just needs to go away, right? So that you can focus, you can do what you need to do. Hi, my love. Super quick cutaway. I just wanted to remind you, in case you haven't already, to please hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast, just because 1, I don't want you to miss a beat, and 2, it really helps us to get further reach so that more actors know that there is help out there, so that I can help support more actors. I would be so grateful for your help on this mission. And if you feel so inclined, why not give us a cheeky rating too? We'd love 5 stars, but whatever you feel is right is good too. Mwah! Thank you so much. Shall we get back into the episode? Let's go. So with that said, let's talk about actually a reframe that's going to really help you as you do continue to progress through your career. Some of my most successful years to date have absolutely been the years when I have done the least, the least amount of auditions. I've had the least amount of jobs booked, right? If we're just going on like, say, job size, after big work gaps is when I booked Queen Cleopatra, is when I booked my first job at the National Theatre, is really when all of the biggest shifts I felt for me have happened. And I talk about this much more in the membership. So little side note, we have the outtakes, which is a much more intimate and personal kind of walk beside me BTS of me navigating my career in real time and giving you the insights and the strategies and tools and the things that I'm learning and going through in order to help you with wherever you're at right now. That's a membership. It's £39 a month and you are more than welcome to sign up. It's in the link below this audio, below this video, wherever you're watching this podcast. So I won't go into it too much now. But truly, like, some of those years, some of those bookings that you will have seen me get on social media or whatever, some of those have come after what would seem to be some of the most unsuccessful periods by comparison, right? And I'll give you a perfect example of just how made up it all really is, right? So some of my biggest jobs to date, right? Let's look at Queen Cleopatra, for example, and let's juxtapose it with Casualty. So if we're looking at it by like the size, the impact of the job, Casualty was watched by about 3 million people a week, so 3 million households a week. Cleopatra on Netflix was watched by many, many million more people, right? So it's a bigger job. It's on a bigger scale in kind of like data terms, that Netflix is a bigger streaming platform than the BBC, really. So in kind of that respect, the Netflix job was bigger than the other job. However, in monetary value, I actually got paid a lot more to do the series regular BBC job than I got paid to do a lead in Queen Cleopatra for Netflix. So then actually, was it my biggest job? Was I going up or was I going backwards? So I just think these things are not helpful. And actually what would be better is that we strip away the noise and the nonsense of like the bookings equal whether or not I'm doing a good enough job, and we find better ways of measuring success. Now, my addition to all of that, before we talk about what the kind of new scorecard should be for measuring your success and moving yourself forward, is that you must stop. And I say this with so much love and so much empathy for someone who has done this a lot themselves, but you must stop competing in the comparison Olympics. You just have to. You have to stop competing in the comparison Olympics. Now, why am I saying that? Because the truth is, I think we are so consistently comparing other people's outcomes to our journeys towards our own outcomes. So when you see things on Instagram, when you see things on Deadline, when you see things wherever, like they pop all these press releases and whatever, like they pop up in the stage and what's on stage and all these places, you're looking at the tail end. Remember, we said that the booking is actually the last thing that happens after a bunch of compounded effort basically adds up, and then overflows into a booking. And you're looking at someone else's overflow, someone else's booking, and you're going, well, I'm not far enough because I haven't had the overflow yet. But you're not seeing all of the compounding effort that every single human on that job, on stage, on camera, and behind the scenes has put in, has done, has experienced to get to that overflow. So you're comparing yourself on entirely different systems of output, of success, of whatever, right? And it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. You don't get to see in that outcome, in that job booking, in that announcement, all the rejections, how long it's taken, whether or not they were first pick or whether or not somebody else was chosen for the job and they couldn't do the job for some reason, and then that person that you do see being announced was given the job. Like, I've had several jobs that way. I wasn't always first pick for something. That outcome, that headline doesn't tell you the fear that that person's experiencing or those people are experiencing and the doubt that they might have about even fulfilling that job. It doesn't tell you about the near misses. It doesn't tell you anything except that somewhere, some way, somehow, they are now in overflow. That headline tells you actually nothing except that the people involved in that project are currently experiencing an overflow, and that truthfully, you're not that different from them. You're not that different from them. You're just not in a season of overflow, but your season will come because all seasons change and you will book again. There is a really great outtake on exactly this. It's called You Will Book Again in brackets. But the truth is that you're just in a season right now where the overflow isn't manifested, but it will. And in order for it to manifest, you have to stay in the game. I think we should measure success by whether or not you're still in the game. I think if you're still in the game, you're still playing the game of building an acting career, of being in this weird and wonderful industry, then you are successful. Like, congratulations, you're still doing it. Because let's be honest, this industry rewards the perseverance. It really is the fight of the most perseverant, not of the most talented, of the most skilled even. It's just of the person, the people who show up and 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 never give up, and don't buy into all the stories about all the made up shit about whether or not you're good enough because you're working on a job right this second right now. Just to reiterate the other sentiment that will come out of my mouth again and again and again and again and again because it's so true, you don't need any evidence that you can do it from having done it before, because your job is to create that which has never existed before. So all you need to do is keep holding the vibe, keep doing the work. And now I think it would be a good time for us to talk about how to measure success differently than you have been doing up until this point. So hopefully we are in agreement. Hopefully we are in agreement that the external stuff, the bookings, the amount of auditions, whatever, that is not the true marker of success. So what is? I think your output, right? So what you are actually doing, I think that is a great and very measurable marker of whether or not you are successful, whether or not you are doing the work, right? Whether or not you are a working actor. A working actor means to be working towards your career. So we are talking about your networking effort. Is your network expanding, and or is it getting deeper? Because it's not always about more. We're often thinking in bigger, better, more, but actually depth is really powerful, especially when it comes to like human relationships. And you've got to remember that this is an industry that relies entirely on the collaboration between human beings. What else can you measure your success by? Your craft, your audition quality. Is your process getting easier? Is it getting faster? Is it getting more impactful? Do you believe yourself more? Are your auditions landing better? Is your agent happy with them? Are you happy with them? Another thing you can be thinking about is your craft and your audition quality. Are they getting faster? Are they getting easier? Are they getting more truthful, even for the comedy? Do you feel like these are things that you are grateful to do? Things that you enjoy doing, things that you can do without tearing yourself apart? Are your in-person auditions relaxed and flowy and fun? We came into this industry to have some fun, and yet we pull the fun out of it so much. You, me, and everybody can always get better at the acting itself. At the technique. And technique is what's really going to take you far in this industry from a kind of performance standpoint, because apart from anything else, you need to be able to repeat what you can do again and again and again and again and again and again and again. But as far as auditions are concerned, you're really working with none of the things that you need to be able to give a truthful and impactful performance. So consistently working to improve the quality of those auditions, I think, is a really, really great barometer of success. And being able to get them out, to deliver them in an expert fashion every single time, no matter what is going on around you, because people always complain about not having enough auditions. And then when they get auditions through, whether that's 1 or 5, whether they're not working or working, they are overcome with all the emotion, the anxiety, the stress that, oh my God, I have to do this, versus, oh my God, I get to do this. So how do we shift so that your auditions get better and better and better over time? That's another really great way of measuring your success. And then of course there's the leadership aspect of it all. How are you leading your career, and how is that improving? How are you getting more emotionally resilient? How are you setting better boundaries? How are you really taking ownership and responsibility and charge of your career? These are really, 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 really great ways of measuring the success of your career and the growth of your career and the growth of you as an artist, as a business owner, the owner of your career, right? And what I will say is that all of these things actually directly impact your booking rate. They all directly impact your booking rate. Not maybe your audition rate, although I would expect that if you are doing the networking and you are leading your career and you are taking responsibility and ownership and your auditions are getting better, that you probably will get more auditions and or higher quality auditions, whatever matters most. Again, it's kind of all made up, but certainly it will absolutely impact your booking rate. A successful actor shows up and does what they say they're going to do. And that's not book the job necessarily. That is talk to the humans, that is get better at their craft again and again, develop their technique, and that is show up and lead their career like a leader would. So here's your action plan. I want you to create a new scorecard for yourself. Maybe let's start monthly so that we're not like overly obsessing with this, but can you set yourself a date in your diary every single month where you're going to sit down and you're going to have a look at, did I grow or expand or deepen my network? Yes? No. There are only two options. Did that happen? And how? I think it's really good not just to kind of like tick the box, so to speak, but to actually analyze, like, what am I doing that's effective? What am I doing that's working well? So did I grow, expand, deepen my relationships in this industry? And if so, how? Number two, did I grow, expand, deepen my craft, my technique, particularly around auditions? And that doesn't require, by the way, for you to actually have had any professional auditions either, because you can always practice an audition. You can get up a script and you can record a self-tape and you can send it to someone for feedback, or you can watch it yourself and analyze it. It's really, really, really great to watch yourself. I really am not one of those actors who thinks that you shouldn't watch yourself or that it's like embarrassing or cringy or whatever to watch yourself. It's research. It's analysis, and I think that's good. And did I grow as the leader of my career? Did I set better boundaries? Did I show up? Did I spearhead meetings? Did I build my resilience? And how? All of these three things, I want you to not only ask, did I do this? Did this improve? But also, how did I do it? How did I do it? And for funsies, what would I like to do beyond this point? How else would I like to improve these things? Self-reflection is very, very important. And just once a month, you will see a profound difference if you truly do sit down and reflect on these things. Let me know how it goes. And that's it. I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really hope this episode has helped. I really hope it's given you an important reframe on the fact that you're actually doing so much better than you think and how to measure your success going forward. If you enjoyed this episode today, I would love to take you backstage behind the scenes with me as I'm navigating my own career in real time. The way that we can do this is via my membership, my audio drop membership, called The Outtakes. This is where I take you behind the scenes of the gaps between gigs and also on the gigs that I'm doing, so that you can learn in real time how I think, how I strategize, how I navigate different scenarios, and how I have built my career up until this point and continue to build it from this day forward. I would love to have you in the membership. It's just £39 a month, but you get so much juicy content and we get to interact a little bit more personally as well within that membership too. So if it sounds like something you would like to be a part of, the links are below this audio, below this video. You are free to join anytime and you will get instant access to everything I've recorded up until the point that you join, and then everything that comes after that too. And that's all there is to say. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you would choose to spend any length of time listening to me talk about the industry and how to move forward in a way that feels good, because I really do think that we all get to feel good, that we all get to have the career that we want to have and that we would love to have, and that it gets to feel good in the process of building that. My most successful years to date have absolutely been the years when I've really looked after myself, my mental health, and where my strategic building has been much more holistic and much less in the energy of like desperation and berating myself and bullying myself for not being further along than I was, right? Because we're always building from exactly where we are today, and you are where you are meant to be. Thank you for being with me today. I will see you in episode 3. I cannot bloody wait. And in the meantime, just please remember that for now and for always, I am rooting for you. You are doing so well and you've absolutely got this. Mwah!